let us bear one thing in mind, you know. When you increase tax, is a systematic way of shifting the wealth. Just like how in FinSac, they move the wealth from the poor to the rich. Taxing is another form of that. At least overtaxing is another form of that, right? And overtaxing without production automatically leads to inflation. So just imagine, you overtax, no production, inflation, and you're not producing. What you do? You cramp and cripple the economy. That's why we end up with something like $1 billion just out of one company, here Jamaica. Taxpayers, $1 billion from here Jamaica alone. And it's surprising that these people have the audacity to get a whole Zionist, Nazi, old MI6 agent to come and tell us about reform and come tell us about what he can do and what the history of that has done. When he not even at the initial stage, when them start with the risers, you know, man, there wasn't a highlighted part of it, you know. And if you think I like, just listen to Karen Cross videos. Man, there wasn't a part after them start to come down for Mark start to talk about Manly, you know. Because guess what happened? You know why I never put for Manly? He couldn't go for Manly? Because Manly idea was, which was something I never get manifested, was democratic socialism. Mark is a capitalist. Those two would be like oil and water. So
I can the one you know Mark. I'll know me don't know him.
Well, no, me I tell you, him is a capitalist. That's why input. Remember now politics. When in his statement, right? In one of his statements, we first promised the resources of Jamaican too. We first made that promise too. What was his first promise? We made that promise too when him get into power. We first make a commitment to. I never hear Mark make a commitment to the Jamaican people, at least not at the beginning. No later when people start to come out on him and talk to him start to like him, you know, like him really have the interest. Mark priority. And the first thing, because him couldn't be anything else, you know, because it's in him. His first commitment and loyalty was to the Tapanari's people. He said, come on, we and you go build this and share this. And I keep telling that people that Mark is Jewish. Mark is a Zionist. And those were the people that Hitler was trying to get out of Germany. And them demonize him, right? Because him say, anywhere them go, them try to take over people things and wreck people country. That is a clear illustration of that what is going on in Israel. That is a clear illustration of how them control the media, them control the oil, and them control all earth natural resources, even in Africa. So them is a bunch of plunderer, and them use the influence to influence politicians all over the world. America no less a place where them they behind the scene and pull the string and I control the thing, right? If the Jewish people, particularly in Jamaica, was helpful to Jamaica, Bolt would not forget to something, you know. Would not forget to an international thing that we sponsor, you know. You have company in Jamaica who can sponsor boat for the next 100 years easily, you know. But these people are greedy and they are racist. And we need to call them out. And I don't ready for them yet because I'm going to list them company and I'm going to bring them to this platform because we need to show them up because them is a sort of leech on the Jamaican economy, and them are one of the part who undermine the government because whenever the government put out a policy that's supposed to benefit everybody, them go against it. Them never pass on the benefit, including the banks, right? Them never pass on the benefit to the people, and all the while when the economy go bad, them still do the same thing. Them increase them price and then this them have to meet back costs and all of that sort of thing, right? When the economy go in a recession, them take the same attitude. When the government make policy, that's so that they can pass it on to the customer. Them not part of that. And as a consequence, it makes the government look bad. When people are not doing the in-depth research and the in-depth observation to realize that these people are a bunch of criminals, greedy criminals. And I think they are one of the most despicable stock of people who help to keep Jamaica in poverty and build themselves. And we are going to call them up because guess one thing now? Here's one of the things now. I don't walk with fear for no man, no day. Right? You can only kill me once and you have to get that right. Can me take you out in a 1 mile with a one shot. Yeah, that's how it is now. So I am not going to be coward anymore because you see if me coward and bow my head and kneel down, I'll become a disgrace to people like Paul Bogle and Sam Sharp. I'll become a disgrace and an embarrassment to people like Marcus Garvey. And that is a legacy that I value. That is a legacy that I value. And therefore I'm prepared to go even further than they have because now I have more resources and more knowledge as to how to get things done. Right? So I'm just putting that out there when I'm talking to these people. Right? Because they think to them because they have money and connection that I can save them well. Ideas lead. Ideas lead. Get that one right down. Ideas lead. Not money, not power. Ideas lead. I'll say that much. Right? So them not have no foundation, them not have no repetition, them not have no track record, them not have no character. But yet still, the PMP, well, I'm not even sure if a PMP or a risers or whoever is they are now, because even within the risers, they are divided. Imagine that. The risers is divided among themselves. Them kill up to them very who and look on Lawrence Rowe. Right? What reason them have to destroy him? Right? And who remember the lady that would you remember the man that was at the funeral of his, I think his wife, and he was telling us about how the PMP treat his wife. I think probably that also helped to kill her faster. Right? And one time she said, wait, because them always say them at the pole, because the pole thing them used to destroy you when they're ready for it. And them always at the pole and them at the pole, and she always say, God, I wonder where them are going to come up with now, because each time they come up and she beat them, then come up with something else. Right? Mark Golden and Dayton can sat in that church looking in the man with them blind stare. We know you people. We know what you're capable of. And we see the people that you destroy within the party. And therefore, we don't expect you to do anything better to Jamaica. You're a bunch of destruction. Look at your base. Look at the core base of the PMP. They are seatless. And you're talking about democracy. And none of them have a good repetition. I mean, Peter Bunting, you hear about the incident that goes on in his house. He need to probably come and give some clarity to that as to whether or not it is true. Dayton Campbell has a repetition. He probably need to have one of those bad that, where them say down when you abuse child or when you molest picnic, you're supposed to get that ban. He need to be watched as well. He needs to put by the child watch, children watch list. Crawford him have a seat. Yet still him supposed to be the next rising star in the PMP, right? Lisa Hanna him come out of it because the risers decided they don't want her to be a part of the team. What kind of people these we have a claim say them are gonna run the country, right? When no less a person than Peter Bunting must remember him pass, I mean him come out contact about him or put man in a short pants. I would give you an advice, but I'm not ready to share it with you yet. But if you remember, say, you did call Skeng down washed up down, and never bear that in mind. Never forget that, because you don't forget it. I'm just putting that out there as well, right? You lost by a massive amount of vote after being in that position as a minister, not just as a member of parliament, as a minister, right? And you lost that by a massive amount of vote. With all of your political experience, you're a waste man. I know you're coming to talk about people putting a short pants. You need to put yourself in that short pants, because you don't have no moral authority to put anybody in there. You people are the scum of the earth. When I check your reputation and I check your record, even at a personal level, put the politics outside of it. Mark is yet to officially declare him who he is, his identity or loyalty, right? And for all of you who running up and talking about this and talking about that, encourage him to tell us who he is, where his loyalty really lies. Encourage us to make him put on his website where him has it there, where him house there, where him own a Jamaica. Encourage him and motivate him to do that now. Because guess what? You're not going to do that, because guess what? The PMP is not voting for Jamaica. They are voting against Andrew. They are not voting for Jamaica. They are voting against Andrew.
Yeah. Yeah, man, you're right.
You see these people. I tell them, I tell them, you see, if I did ever really materialize myself and go all at West Point, it would be a totally different ball game, It would be a totally different ball game. And I hear that too whenever I talk to some of these PMP people, they have a tendency to get threatening and violent, and I tell me about, man, all I tell me, say, boy, you recognize your voice, brother, me take you out at a mile. One eye shut. But I feel so because you man attack, man, I sound like a waste man about that. But me not even ready for to deal with that one yet. What me I say, brother, you don't have no ground, you don't have no integrity, you don't have no dignity. You don't kill no very own. Right? When you look on somebody like Lisa, well, whatever you want to value yourself, no, she have a contribution to making at the party. And just like how you don't undermine Portia, on the despicable set has come, right? Who no undermine her, see him when do it because she was loyal. She came into the party under her wings, and then decided to no want nothing that resembles her, so no kick her out. Alright, and think it's a brilliant organization. Right? Uno get the support of one of the biggest gang that spread its wings to the very end of the country. Multiply itself and go right across Jamaica. Who was behind that gang? As for you, Mr. Mark, I wonder if Mr. What's his name? The man who them say murder him wife. Is he still a member, sir? Is he still in it official in the party? Because that's the one you declare that. And you were ready to talk about
Big up,
this
man.
police. Yes, you was ready to talk about your moral stand and your principle when it comes to the Prime Minister's wife and in her working in her capacity, which was officially given to her and was authenticated by the parliament that you were sitting. I think you're retarded, sir. So come to us and tell us where it is that we can go to research to see that you have disposed of Mr. Jolan, right, from the PMP. Bring us that information or tell us how to source. Are these set a long neck turd with a TURD, not H, who come claim themselves on a pass with blogger. Tell us where we can get that information because you like to do research. Well, not any research of value, but anyway, you probably would want to clear up that, right? You probably want to clear up that if he's still a member of the party, right? And your son, because the official argument was when she died was that she died in her bed peacefully like a whole 96-year-old woman with her family gathered around her, right? Of course, sure, right? And as fate would have it, it turns out that nothing went that way. We are yet to hear your official position because you were involved at the initial stage, and that would give rise to the suspicion that you know more than you are letting on.